We all know that LinkedIn ads and Google ads are two of the powerhouse platforms when it comes to B2B lead generation. Individually, while they may be amazing, when used together, they can become an unstoppable force, which will cause you to drown in the amount of inbound inquiries that you've generated. Okay, maybe it's not that extreme, but in this video, we're going to run through how you can use LinkedIn ads and Google ads in a symbiotic relationship to show how you can use Google ads to get the most out of your LinkedIn ads and how you can use LinkedIn ads to get the most out of your Google ads from a B2B inbound perspective. So let's go. Okay, so like I mentioned, the first thing we're going to look at is how your Google ads strategy can inform your LinkedIn ad direction. Now, one of the things which is really cool, which we can go into a bit more from a tactical level, is say, for example, we go and type in CRM software. We can see monday.com. Here's here, CRM for small to medium-sized businesses. Sorry, Monday. It's going to click on that quickly. What we can see at the moment is there's a lot of information within the UTM string. A UTM string is pretty much anything after this question mark, which appends all the data from a programmatic source. So in this case, it's Google Ads. We've got Google Ads here. We can see the term, which was CRM software, which is actually what we typed in. From a C keyword, you can see the medium CPC, UTM source, AdWords, probably a slightly outdated search engine marketing structure here, and then you can see the campaign, everything else within here. So there's a lot of relevant and good information that we can pull through into other remarketing channels such as LinkedIn. Let's go to LinkedIn and we can go on to plan, we can go on to audiences. And if we go on to create audience, we can go down to website, make sure you have your LinkedIn pixel set up on your site, which is through Google Tag Manager or through the header of your website code. Now, LinkedIn's actually recently introduced button clicks. So you can go on and if someone clicks a buy now button or get quote button or get demo button, you can actually start to segment that my remarketing audience. So if there's one on your Google Ads pages on there, you can feel free to create an audience out of that. But for example, if we go over to page visits, you can also see the pages that everyone has been visiting. But in this sense, if we really want to get segmented, and it may be good for people that have a slightly larger budget, but if you have more than 300 people hitting and clicking on a certain keyword within your campaigns, and it's then being tracked through the UTM codes, we can go over here and say UTM term equals CRM software. We can copy this, we can bring it across in here, and we can say anyone who anyone who hits the URL that has UTM term equals CRM software. So anyone who hits this, we can create a rule and say anyone who has clicked the CRM or typed in CRM software or a variation, whether it's exact match or phrase match of this term, comes to the Google landing page. We can then see ultimately that we can segment people in a LinkedIn audience who have typed for this, which means the ad copy, for example, could be still looking for a CRM software ? Get a free trial, or still looking for reviews around CRM software. What a lot of companies do is they take remarketing data, which is from their website, from Google Ads, from their LinkedIn homepage, from email referrals, from just generic campaigns that they've been running, and they pool it into one. What we're trying to do here is make sure that we know exactly what someone is looking for. We're then mirroring that across their ads, and we can keep that consistent messaging. And I'd treat this type of marketing to the similar way in B2B that you would use shopping cart abandoners in e-commerce. So for example, next 30 days, let's try and get the frequency of these ads really high and try and get someone, because we know at that point in time they're looking. If we can get the frequency really high across this channel or other channels, we can make sure that we're trying to get in front of that person to try and still push them down that buying journey within the 30 days of them actually typing in that query and doing that research. Because if we can get in front of them more and more times in that period, that's going to be great for us. So rather than just repulling all your marketing together from company page, documents, clicks, general website visits, video views, you can go and segment them from what actually someone's typing for in Google Ad, use that as your intent lever, and then you can go over to LinkedIn and use it with creative. The other way you can use Google Ads with your LinkedIn ads will be using something like our account tracker. I've had to blur these out because ultimately it's identifiable information. And what we can see here is company names that have come and hit our site through Google Ads. Someone's clicked on your Google Ads, they've come through to your site, but 95% of the time, as a rough example, they're not actually going to fill out a form. So what we want to do is look at the 95% of companies, if we can identify them. Down the left-hand side here, we can see them. And what we can do then is export this list, go back into audiences within LinkedIn ads and click on company/contact upload, create company list. You can actually download the template here, which shows you the information you need, which will come straight from the account tracker anyway. Then name this list, and then you can select them and upload them. The theory behind this is the fact that one person in a company may have searched for CRM software, but it probably means there's a wider organizational intent, which means if we can get in front now, once we've uploaded this, of a wider buying committee, so not just the person who is seeing this ad through a one-to-one remarketing campaign, but we're now remarketing to a whole SME's senior leadership team, then there's probably going to be some internal comms and some dark social and some sharing of content, which goes on behind the scenes, because ultimately we're targeting everyone in that company because one person has intent, which is probably indicative of a wider intent in an audience. So that's the second way in which you can use Google Ads to run your LinkedIn ads strategy, or just from a tactics perspective, how you can make it really, really personalized to what it is someone is looking for versus general. The next one is, how can we use your LinkedIn ads to drive your Google Ads strategy? And that's another good question. So if we go into our GA4 account and we go to user acquisition, we can see down here the different ways in which people are finding our sites. We've got direct, organic, referral, organic video, paid social, organic social. If we go up to this little plus icon here and go down to traffic source and go on to cross channel and click on session source medium, down here it will start telling us, paid social, for example, it's LinkedIn paid. So I can copy this, and if I go across to admin and go across to audiences, what I can do is create a new audience where I say create a custom audience, and I can add traffic source, and I can go down and I can use the same source medium, and then I can go add filter and contains paste LinkedIn paid, and click on that. And if I click apply, what we want to do is then make sure that every time someone goes from our LinkedIn to click to our website, for example, which is what we recommend from a first touch on LinkedIn, then someone is then put into this GA4 remarketing. And then once it hits around 1,000 people, what we can do is next time we go into search and type in, say, for example, CRM, if Monday had identified that us as an audience in GA4, what they could say is, even though we're not typing in an audience which is as high intent, they would maybe bid 2 or 3 times the amount because we've already been to their site 1 or 2 times. And we want to make sure that we're using that LinkedIn audience to actually create that foundation, drive that initial awareness touch point. And then we want to make sure that we're bidding even more on what we call a remarketing search ad to make sure we're appearing in front of that person to really drive the effectiveness. This type of activity is really, really good for B2B companies with small target audience markets, because if you take an ABM approach and you need to make sure that everyone from your audience is getting driven to your website through LinkedIn, for example, then you can make sure that you're creating these remarketing search ads to get in front of these people that are maybe typing in something which is slightly more higher up the funnel than what you typically would from a Google Ads perspective. So hopefully there are a few bits in that video that you found helpful around how Google Ads can help your LinkedIn ads and vice versa. As always, any questions, please whack them in the comments below. And anything you've done across the 2 platforms, which has been really good from a B2B lead generation perspective, also whack them in the comments below. But there is one thing above all that I like about LinkedIn ads, which has been brought out in the last year. And I talk about that in the video just here. Until next time.